Hello everyone, I Akhilesh Kumar Tiwari welcome you all on the lecture on ocean thermal energy conversion and tidal energy. So before we begin this lecture, let us recall about the last lecture. In the last lecture, we have already discussed on geothermal energy power generation. So basically in this lecture, we will cover which has been also covered in previous lecture, like the introduction about geothermal energy and its resources, how does geothermal energy work, extraction and uses of geothermal energy, types of geothermal power plants, advantages, disadvantages and future of geothermal energy, and the environmental impact of geothermal energy with conclusion. Okay, so now in this lecture we will focus on the following contents. First of all, we will be discussing about the introduction, then we will discuss about OTEC working principle, about its systems and also the application of this system. Also, we will discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of OTEC. Then we will cover the tidal energy. After that, we will discuss on basic physics of tide, the neap tides and spring tides, ebb tide and flood tide, tidal power generation, types of tidal power plant, advantages and disadvantages of tidal energy, and at the last we will discuss about the future of tidal energy. So let us begin with the introduction. So oceans cover more than 70% of Earth's surface, making them the world's largest solar collectors. And also the OTEC is a renewable energy technology that converts solar radiation into electric power by use of world oceans. OTEC process uses temperature difference between cold deep water and warm surface water. Basically the temperature difference is around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius to power a turbine to generate electricity. Now, ocean thermal energy is a renewable energy technology that harnesses the temperature difference between the warm surface water of the ocean and the cold deep water to generate electricity. This innovative approach takes advantage of the Earth's natural temperature gradient in tropical and subtropical regions, where there is a significant contrast between the warm surface water and the cold water found at greater depths. The process typically involves a closed loop or open loop system. In a closed loop OTEC system, a working fluid with a low boiling point like ammonia is used to transfer heat from the warm surface water to vaporize it. This vaporized fluid drives a turbine to generate electricity, and then the cold deep water is used to condense the vapor, completing the cycle. In an open loop system, water surface seawater is used to directly vaporize a working fluid, and the cold deep water serves as the coolant. The resulting temperature difference between the two fluids generates the power. Also, the OTEC has several advantages, which includes its ability to provide continuous and reliable energy, minimal greenhouse gas emissions, and the potential to produce fresh water as a byproduct. However, it also faces challenges such as high initial capital cost, the need for specific geographic conditions, and potential environmental impacts. Despite these challenges, OTEC holds promise as a sustainable and environmentally friendly energy source, offering a unique solution to meet the world's growing energy demand while reducing our reliance on fossil fuels and mitigating climate change. Also, the researchers and engineers continue to explore and develop these OTEC technologies to make them more economical, and environment friendly. Now we will discuss the working principle of OTEC. So mainly the plant works on the principle of a closed Rankine cycle. Warm water is used to evaporate working fluid like ammonia or halocarbon refrigerant like propane or freon. This evaporated fluid expands in a low pressure turbine which is coupled with a turbo alternator to produce electricity. Now there are three types of electricity conversion system. The first one is closed or Anderson cycle power plant. The next one is open or Claude cycle power plant, and the third one is hybrid cycle power plant. Now we will discuss the closed loop OTEC cycle. So in this particular operation, the fluid with a low boiling point such as ammonia to power a turbine to generate electricity. In the closed cycle, the system warm sea water vaporizes a working fluid such as ammonia flowing through a heat exchanger or evaporator. The vapor expands at a moderate pressure and turns a turbine coupled to a generator that produces electricity. The vapor is then condensed in a heat exchanger or condenser using cold seawater pumped from the ocean's depth through a cold water pipe. The condensed working fluid is pumped back to the evaporator to repeat the cycle. The working fluid remains in a closed system and circulates continuously. The heat exchangers, which is evaporator and condenser, are a large and crucial component of the closed cycle power plant, both in terms of actual size and capital cost. Now we will discuss about the open loop cycle. So basically, George Claude constructed the first OTEC plant in 1929 in Cuba. This plant used an open cycle in which seawater itself plays the multiple role of heat source, working fluid, coolant and heat sink. In open cycle, the seawater itself used to generate heat without any kind of intermediate fluid. The open cycle plant uses the tropical ocean's warm surface water to make electricity. The open cycle consists of the following steps. First of all, the flash evaporation of a fraction of the warm seawater by reduction of pressure below the saturation value corresponding to its temperature. The expansion of the vapor through a turbine to generate power. Heat transfer to the cold seawater thermal sink resulting in condensation of the working fluid. The compression of the non-condensable gases which is released as air from the seawater at the low pressure to pressures required to discharge them from the system. Now we will discuss about hybrid cycle. So a hybrid cycle combines the feature of both the closed and open cycle system. In a hybrid system, warm seawater enters a vacuum chamber where it is flash evaporated into steam, which is similar to the open cycle evaporation process. The steam vaporizes the working fluid of a closed cycle loop on the other side of an ammonia vaporizer. The vaporized fluid then drives a turbine that produces electricity. The steam condenses within the heat exchanger and provides desalinated water. So basically this is the diagram. Now we will discuss about the application of OTEC. So the first application is in hydrogen. So the hydrogen can be produced via electrolysis using electricity generated by the OTEC process. Next one is electricity production. Third one is desalination. So desalination, it's produced in an hybrid cycle, open and hybrid cycle. So the system analysis indicates that a 2 megawatt plant can produce 4300 cubic meter desalination water each day. Also, the application includes refrigeration and air conditioning, which includes the cold seawater made available by an OTEC system creates an opportunity to provide large amount of cooling to operation that are related to or close to the plant. The low-cost refrigeration provided by the cold seawater can be used to upgrade or maintain the quality of indigenous fish which tend to deteriorate quickly in warm tropical region. The cold seawater delivered to an OTEC plant can be used in chilled water coils to provide air conditioning of buildings. Also, it is applicable to aquaculture. How it is applicable? It reduces the financial and energy cost of pumping large water volume from deep ocean. Also, the deep ocean water contains high concentration of essential nutrients that are depleted in surface water due to biological consumption. The next application is mineral extraction. So the ocean contains 57 trace elements in salt dissolved in solution. The Japanese recently began investigation the concept of combining the extraction of uranium dissolved in seawater with wave energy technology. Now we will see the advantages of OTEC. What are the advantages? So this ocean thermal energy conversion is a method that generates electricity using the temperature difference between warm surface seawater and cold deep seawater. With here are the some advantages. The first advantage is renewable energy source. So this process harnesses the temperature difference in the ocean, a renewable and virtually inexhaustible energy source to generate electricity. Also, this is stable and predictable. So this provides a constant and stable source of energy as the temperature difference in the ocean remains relatively consistent, unlike some other renewable energy sources like wind and solar. It has the potential for desalination. So the system can be designed to facilitate desalination process, providing an additional source of fresh water, particularly valuable in coastal regions with water scarcity. Also, this reduces the greenhouse gas emission. This OTEC power generation produces minimum greenhouse gas emission, contributing to the reduction of carbon footprints and environmental impact. Also, this has the economic benefits, which includes it creates job opportunities in the construction, operation and maintenance of OTEC facilities, providing economic benefits for coastal communities. It has the cooling effect, so the system can cool surface water, potentially mitigating the impact of rising ocean temperature and supporting marine ecosystem, particularly in areas susceptible to coral bleaching and other temperature related issues. It also helps in energy security. How it is helpful? This reduces dependence on fossil fuel, enhancing energy security and promoting sustainable energy independence for countries with access to suitable oceanic conditions. It has the long-term potential. So with ongoing advancements in technology and research, OTEC has the potential to become a significant contributor to the global energy mix, supporting the transition to a more sustainable and diverse energy portfolio. Now, as the OTEC technology has major advantages, it also has some disadvantages. So let's discuss the disadvantages of this OTEC system. So despite its potential, it has also come with a certain limitations and challenges. So we will discuss the main disadvantages associated with OTEC. So first one is the high initial investment. So OTEC system requires significant initial capital investment or construction and installation, making them financially challenging to implement, especially in comparison to other conventional energy sources. Next one is technological complexity. So the OTEC technology is relatively complex, involving the use of specialized equipment and materials, as well as the need for expertise in marine engineering and deep sea operation. Also, it has the limited geographic sustainability. So the OTEC is only viable in region where there is a significant temperature difference between the surface and deep sea water, which limits its geographic applicability to tropical and subtropical regions. Now, the environmental impact. So the installation and operation of OTEC system can have environmental impacts also, such as the alteration of local marine ecosystems, disturbance to marine life, and changes in nutrient cycling due to the utilization of deep sea water. It has also some of the maintenance challenges. So, if the OTEC system being installed in the ocean, it faces challenges related to maintenance, repair, corrosion due to exposure to harsh marine environment, which can increase its operational cost. Also, the competition with other renewable energy sources. So the OTEC faces competition with other more mature and cost-effective renewable energy sources like wind and solar energy, which can pose challenges for its widespread adoption and commercial viability. Next one is the energy transportation challenge. So, the OTEC energy generation often requires the transportation of electricity from offshore platform to onshore facilities, which can present technical and logical challenges, particularly over long distance. So, while this OTEC technology holds promise for generating clean and renewable energy from the ocean, addressing these disadvantages is crucial to improve its cost effectiveness, environmental sustainability, and overall feasibility in the global energy landscape. Some of the ongoing research and development efforts aim to overcome these challenges and make OTEC a more competitive and widely accessible source of clean energy in the future. Now, we have covered the OTEC system for generation of energy. In the next part, now we will cover the topic known as tidal energy. So let's have the introduction of tidal energy. So this energy is often referred to as tidal power. So it is basically a renewable energy source that harnesses the nature rise and fall of ocean tides to generate electricity. It is also a clean and predictable form of energy production that takes advantage of the gravitational force between the earth, the moon and the sun, which causes periodic changes in sea level. These tidal movements create kinetic and potential energy that can be captured and converted into electrical power. So this tidal energy is harnessed through various methods, including tidal stream system, tidal range system and tidal lagoons. Tidal stream system is used underwater turbine to capture the kinetic energy of tidal current, which flow much like underwater rivers. The tidal range system typically involve the construction of tidal barrages or lagoons where the difference in water levels between high tide and low tide is used to generate electricity. One of the significant advantages of tidal energy is its predictability. As tide follows a regular and well-known pattern, the predictability makes tidal energy a reliable and consistent source of renewable power. Additionally, tidal energy system produce minimal greenhouse gas emissions and have a relatively low environmental impact compared to some other forms of energy generation. However, tidal energy also faces challenges, including the need for suitable coastal locations with strong tidal variations, high upfront infrastructure cost, and potential impact on local marine ecosystems. Ongoing research and development efforts aim to improve the efficiency and reduce the environmental effects of tidal energy system. The tidal energy holds great promise as a sustainable and environmental friendly energy source, particularly in regions with significant tidal resources. As the world seeks to reduce its reliance on fossil fuels and combat climate change, tidal energy represents an important part of the renewable energy mix and a potential solution to our growing energy needs. The demand of electricity is increasing and global warming threatens human life. So it's time to have away from fossil fuel and other sources. The tide contains energy that can be harnessed to produce electricity. So basically there are two types of tidal energy which can be extracted. First one is the kinetic energy, which can be harnessed from the ebbing and surging tides. The potential energy, which can be harnessed from differences in the high and low tides. So the tidal power has huge potential due to the size of the ocean and predictability of tides. Now we will discuss the basic physics behind the tides. So gravitational pull of the moon and sun acting upon the rotating earth. The pull of the centrifugal force of the rotation of earth-moon system. There are two high tides and low tides during each period of rotation of the earth. The gravitational force of the moon causes the ocean to bulge along an axis pointing directly at the moon. The magnitude of this attraction depends on the mass of the object and its distance away. Now we will discuss about neap tides and spring tides. So when the sun and moon are as positioned in 90 degrees from each other, their gravitational attraction each pulls water in different direction, causing a neap tide. And when the sun and moon are in line, their gravitational attraction on the earth combines and causing a spring tide. Now we will discuss about ebb tide and flood tide. So a high tide is the stage when the tidal crest arrives at a particular location on shore, raising the local sea level. A low tide is the stage when the trough arrives, lowering the local sea level. A flood tide is a rising or incoming tide between low tide and high tide. And an ebb tide is a falling or outgoing tide between high tide and low tide. Now the tidal range. So the tidal range is the difference in height between high tide and low tide. Large tidal range occurs during spring tide. Spring tides occurs at the second and fourth of the lunar phases. The neap range is smallest. The neap tides occur at the first and third quarters of the lunar phases. The typical tidal range in the open ocean is about 1 meter. Closer to the coast, this range is much greater. Coastal tidal range vary globally and can differ anywhere from near 0 to over 11 meter. The classification. So the tidal range has been classified as microtidal. When the tidal range is lower than 2 meters, then we have mesotidal, when the tidal range is between 2 meter and 4 meter, and the last one is macrotidal, in which the tidal range is higher than 4 meters. Now the tidal power generation. So a tidal power plant consists of three main parts. The first being the barrage itself, holding the water back during high tide. The second part is the sluice gate that let water through the third part. The third part consists turbine and generator, resulting in electricity generation. Now first of all we will discuss about the tidal barrage. So a tidal barrage is a dam like structure used to capture the energy from masses of water moving in and out of a bay or river due to tidal forces. The sluice gate. The sluice gate are left open during high tide and closed during low tide to create a water level differential, creating a potential difference to power the turbine when the water is released. The next one is tidal steam generator. So the tidal steam generator are very similar to wind turbine except they are below the water surface instead of above or on land. The turbine and generator converts the movement of water coming from the charge in tide, the kinetic energy, into electricity. Water is 830 times denser than air and therefore can generate electricity at lower speeds than wind turbines. Now we will discuss about the types of tidal power plant. So the first one is the tidal barrage and the second one is tidal current turbine. So the tidal barrage. So basically this utilizes the potential energy. The tidal barrage are typically dams built across an bay to hold water. It also consists of turbines, sluice gates and ship locks. So there are four types of tidal barrage. First one is single basin, single effect. So this is the simplest form of tidal power plant, and in this system a basin is allowed to get filled during flood tide and during the ebb tide. The water flow from the basin to the sea passing through the turbine which generates power. The power is available for a short duration during ebb tide. Now we have single basin double effect. So in this arrangement, power is generated both during flood tide as well as ebb tide. In this, the power generation is also intermittent, but generation period is increased compared with one-way cycle. So the peak power obtained is less than the one-way cycle. Next one is two basin linked basin. So in this arrangement, the turbine is set up between the two basins. One basin is intermittently filled by the flood tide and the other is intermittently filled by ebb tide. So small capacity but continuous power is made available. Next one is two basin paired basin. So now we will discuss about the tidal current turbines. So this uses the kinetic energy of moving water to power turbines in a similar way to wind turbine that is used from wind to power turbines. So it operates during ebb and low tide, during which water flows away from the shore, and flood tide in which the water is high and during which water flows towards the shore tides. It also consists of a rotor, gearbox and a generator. So these three parts are mounted onto a support structure. So there are three main types of structure. First one is gravity structure, second one is monopile structure, third one is piled structure, and the fourth one is floating structure. Now we will discuss about the advantages of tidal energy. So first one, it is a reliable and predictable solution which includes the predictable sources of renewable energy as it relies on the gravitational force of the moon and sun. Next one, it is environment friendly. So the tidal power generation produces no greenhouse gas emission, making it a clean and sustainable energy option. The third one is high energy density. So the tidal energy has a high energy density, meaning it can generate significant amounts of electricity from relatively small areas of tidal current or waves. Fourth one is long lifespan. So the tidal energy system typically have a long lifespan, providing consistent power generation over many years. Now we will discuss about the disadvantages of tidal energy. So the first disadvantage of this energy is high initial cost. As we all know, the construction and installation of tidal energy system can be expensive, requiring substantial upfront investment. Second one is environmental impact. So this tidal energy system can disrupt marine ecosystem and affect the migration patterns of marine animals, potentially leading to ecological consequences. The third one is limited location suitability. The tidal energy can only be harnessed in a specific location with significant tidal ranges, which limiting to its geographical applicability. The fourth one is potential for infrastructure damage. So, the harsh marine environment can cause wear and tear on tidal energy infrastructure, leading to maintenance challenges and potential damage over time. So, this is the world tidal power plant scenario, in which these are some of the stations which having some capacities and the country in which they have been made or they have been constructed. So now let us talk about the future of tidal energy. So the future of tidal energy holds significant promise and potential as a sustainable and reliable source of renewable power. So there are several factors which contributes to the positive outlook for tidal energy. This includes the increasing energy demand. So as we all know, the demand of global energy for clean is growing as society seeks to reduce their reliance on fossil fuels and combat climate changes. The second one is predictable and reliable source. So the tidal energy is highly predictable due to the regular and well-known pattern of tides. This predictability makes it a reliable source of energy which can help stabilize the grid and complement other intermittent renewable sources like wind and solar. Next one is advancements in technology. So the ongoing research and development efforts are focused on improving the efficiency and cost effectiveness of tidal energy system. Next one is it is environmental friendly or sustainable. So the tidal energy has a lower environmental impact compared to some of other forms of energy generation such as fossil fuels. Next one is government support and incentives. Many governments around the world are offering incentives and support for the development of renewable energy sources, including tidal energy. So these policies can facilitate the growth of the tidal energy sector. Next one is it is offered in hybrid system. So combining tidal energy with other renewable technologies such as wind or solar can create hybrid system. Next one is economic viability. So as tidal energy projects mature and gain experience, economies of scale and cost reductions are likely. Next one is energy independence. So the tidal energy can provide energy security and independence for coastal region by reducing their reliance on imported energy sources and providing a local renewable energy supply. Also, it has the potential of research and innovation. So ongoing research into environmental impacts, marine ecosystem management and system design will help address and mitigate concerns associated with tidal energy. So despite these positive trends, there are challenges that need to be overcome for tidal energy to reach its full potential. These include high upfront infrastructure cost, the need for suitable locations, environmental considerations, and regulatory issues. Nonetheless, the continued development of tidal energy technologies coupled with growing global recognition of the importance of renewable energy suggests a bright future for tidal energy as a significant contributor to the world's clean energy mix. So, dear learners, in today's lecture, we have mainly discussed on introduction about the OTEC, the working principle of OTEC, the OTEC system, its advantages and disadvantages, and this OTEC was followed by the discussion on tidal energy, the tidal power generation, the types of tidal power plant, the advantages and disadvantages of tidal energy, and also at the end we have discussed about the future trends of tidal energy. So with this, we will end our lecture here. Thank you for your patience and happy learning.